Well, welcome to the top 5 things to do to get your first or next clients. My name is Christine McAlister, and I'm thrilled to be here with you today to talk about this topic that is so important. So thank you for joining me. And I am really excited to be able to give you these top 5 lessons that I've distilled down from being in online business since 2005, which, yes, makes me one of the older millennials. But I am just very, very passionate about this exact topic because, as you know, you've got to have consistent clients in order to have a business, right? And so you might be just looking for your very first client, or you might be looking for more clients, or you might be at a point where your business doesn't currently have any clients, but you want to rejuvenate a business. So no matter where you are on that spectrum, this is going to be really helpful to you. And as we know, having clients is the basis of having a business, but so often we feel really stuck on what we're not doing, what we're doing wrong, what everyone else is doing. And those types of things keep us from getting clients and getting them consistently so that our business grows, so that we continue to make a difference, right? And we continue to help the people we're excited about helping. And so we're going to dive into all of these details today. And I'm a very interactive live streamer, so I want you to ask me your questions. Some of you have already been asking questions ahead of this live stream, which I love, and I'm going to get to those. And I want you to pop them in the comments. If you're watching this live or even on the replay, I will come back and I will answer. So we are going to get started in just a minute here with the top 5 things to do to get your first or next clients. If you want to follow along with all of these in a PDF that I've created that's all neat and nice looking just for you, you can grab that at the link in the description. It's bit.ly/top-5-things-clients. If you're watching this later or you can't see the description for some reason, I'll say that again. bit.ly/top-5, the number 5, -things-clients. Beautiful, beautiful. So go ahead and grab that workbook and then you can follow along and you can take notes. There's spaces for you to do that, fillable spaces for you to answer the questions and the prompts that I've put in there for you. So who am I and why am I talking about the top 5 things to do to get your first or next clients? I'm so glad you asked. My name is Christine McAlister and I am a business and success coach. My company is called Life with Passion and I have been an online entrepreneur since 2005. So in 2005, I started my first company as a side hustle as an online marketer. And I did that business for a decade. And I worked with small businesses locally, domestically, and internationally, running campaigns to bring in their leads, to grow their online presences, websites, Facebook, and then Facebook ads when those became available. I have personally been on Facebook since 2004 when the platform was just getting started. I happened to go to one of the schools that was one of the first to get it released. And so I've been in this space for a long time and have grown up with it. And so I have the online marketing piece, right? I've done that for a long, long, long time. Now, in 2015, I decided, because of a personal tragedy in my life, to take a really hard look at my business and to make a pivot. And if you've seen me around in the group, wherever, you might know that that tragedy was that right before my first baby was due, she unexpectedly passed away after a perfect pregnancy. And we named her Maeve. And that type of unexpected shock, loss, grief, you can hear me talk about it just about anywhere you look. It's very much core to my story and why I started Life with Passion. That turned everything upside down for me. And I decided to get very clear on what kind of legacy I wanted to create, who I wanted to impact, and how I was going to do that. And so out of that exploration process came a new business called Life with Passion. And in this business, I help high achievers who are struggling with self-doubt, but have a dream of starting or growing their own business, quitting their jobs, or staying out of jobs, to do just those things and to do things they're truly passionate about, uniquely gifted to do, all of that. So that's why I do what I do. I'm also a huge animal lover. My rescue Australian Shepherd Isley is laying here at my feet, as she does most days. My other rescue dog is in timeout because he was being naughty earlier, so he's not at my feet like he normally is. But I also have horses, and that is just a little bit about me. So now that you know who I am, why this topic is important, you are going to learn today the top 5 things to do to get your first or next client. Simple as that. Again, you can download the PDF to walk right along with me in this, and you could do that in the link in the caption here. This is the core of your business, right? These 5 things are the core of what you need to do to create a successful online business. And I know that that's why you're here. I know that's why you're watching. I know that's what you're dreaming of doing. So let's dive right in. You are going to learn actionable steps for each one of these things. And you are going to learn examples too, right? Like I'm going to walk you through these examples so that you know exactly what I mean. I've got my tea here. I am known in my Facebook group, Life with Passion Society, for doing live streams and drinking wine, but this is tea, I promise. So, first off, what is the first thing to know to get your first or next client? Number 1, most important thing, single most important thing to know in order to get your first or next client. Because everything flows out of this one thing. Everything else we're going to talk about flows out of this one thing. That's why I put it first. Know your niche. Know your niche. I know some of you have had questions around that, and I'm going to answer those, and I love that you're asking, and I love that sounds like you intuitively know already that that's the thing where you need to be focused, right? This is so important. Know your niche. If you skip this one, and you move on to the more tangible pieces like, oh, I need a website first, or I need a Facebook page, or I need a package, I need a freebie, I need an offer, I need a landing page. Chances are so good you'll wind up feeling like you're flailing. You might even tell yourself that you're failing. You might get discouraged, you might get confused, you might wonder why things aren't working. It's because you didn't take the time to do this all-important thing, knowing your niche. If you know your niche and you own your niche and you have your niche nailed, then the rest of getting clients and making money from those clients becomes so much clearer and so much easier. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example here. My niche is high achieving, motivated, entrepreneurial people, usually women, and we could talk about why if you care, feel free to ask, who are feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or doubting themselves, and who desire to grow a freedom-based business so that they can create a life full of passion like I have. Obviously, I'm really passionate about this, right? I'm an introvert, but when I get on here and I talk about this stuff, I love it. I could talk about it all day long. So, do you know your niche? Or do you feel all over the place on who you can help? And like, maybe you have FOMO, fear of missing out. Maybe you're afraid of like, you feel like, oh, well, I can just help everyone. If you feel that way, chances are you do not have clients pouring in. I'm just going to be honest with you. If you feel like you can help everyone, you're probably not helping anyone at this point. And that's a really normal part of early business when you first get started to feel like, oh, well, I can help anyone. I'm afraid to leave anyone out, right? But it's actually paradoxical that the more people you wind up narrowing out, the more likely it is that your ideal client will feel like you are reading their mind, you have something that can exactly help them, and they're going to come and go, thank God, you are exactly who I'm looking for. How do I work with you? Okay, so step number 1 is to know your niche. Are you crystal clear on who you serve? Are you laser focused on how you serve them? How can you hone in even further than where you are right now so that you know exactly who you are excited to work with? Remember that this is the single most important thing to know in order to get your first or next client, because everything else, the other 4 steps we're going to talk about, are all based on nailing your niche first. Do not skip this step, or you're setting yourself up for a lot of frustration, a lot of confusion. Why aren't people responding to my website or my offer or my this or my that? No, the most strategic thing that you can do is start with your niche. Okay? Now, I'd love to hear from you. Are you clear on your niche? Are you clear on your niche? And if so, who is it? Let me get to know you a little bit. Are you clear on your niche, or are you confused about it as of right now? Awesome. So that's step 1. Step number 2, after you nail your niche, is to own your confidence. Okay? Now, why is that important? All right, it is important because let's face it, if you're not feeling confident, chances are good that you are going to be hiding out, right? It's easy to hide out online, and it's easy to scroll and like look at what everyone else is doing and feel like, oh my gosh, I'm so far behind, or like I'm missing out, so I ought to go try this thing or that thing. But the truth is, even if you don't feel confident right now, what's beautiful about owning your confidence is that researchers have found that this is a learned skill. You know, I feel like when I was growing up, I envied a lot of people who I just felt like had this innate confidence, right? And I was like, I wish I could be more confident like them. I wish I could show up like they do. But I had a lot of self-doubt. And the truth is that until you choose to learn your confidence, because you can learn it, because you can improve it, because you can increase it, you may feel like full of self-doubt. You may be hiding out. You may be scrolling, looking at what everyone's doing, which never makes us feel better, right? You're comparing yourself to everyone else. You're never comparing yourself to somebody who's like worse off than you or further behind than you. You're only comparing yourself to people who are further ahead, right? So we want to begin to own our confidence and improve it after we know our niche. Hi, Ariana. Oh, so good to see you. Welcome. So number 2 is own that confidence, my friend. If you're not feeling confident, you're probably hiding out, probably doing what I used to do, sitting on the couch, binge watching Netflix and eating chips and cheese, feeling stuck and frustrated that your business isn't moving forward faster and wondering what you're doing wrong, right? Which just puts you in this like really unhelpful cycle, right? Like I said, confidence is a learned skill. It's not something that some people just have and others don't. You can create it now, which is great news, okay? So here's one way that I increase my confidence, or I get unstuck. And I would love to hear what you think about that confidence piece. Like, does that resonate for you? Does that something that you struggle with? Do you ever find yourself hiding out? Where are you with confidence? And also, where are you with knowing your niche? How clear are you on that? Because like I said, that's this first step, and I put it first because it's the most important. Do not skip it. All right? Here's what I do when I'm feeling stuck. I set a timer for 5 minutes, 5 minutes, not 10, 5 minutes, and do action on something business related. That's it. If I feel like working after the 5 minutes, like beyond the 5 minutes, I will. But if I don't, I won't. I give myself that permission to go, cool, I'm feeling stuck, instead of going, I got to do my whole website today and I've been procrastinating on it for 6 months and today's the day, and then like beating myself up when I don't get it done again for the 180. There's something going on here. How can I work through that? When you take action, you build confidence. When you take action, you build confidence. And your brain stops feeling overwhelmed because you've taken action. You've made progress, right? The next day you can do it again, and that is how you build a business in 5 minutes a day. That is a simple hack that has allowed me to be extremely productive on the right things, build my business very quickly in 5 minutes a day. And if you feel like working longer on it, great. But gaining that momentum in the first 5 minutes is so key to overcoming that stagnation, that discouragement, all of those things, right? And if you're just joining us, you can get all the steps that we're talking about here in the link in the description here, which is bit.ly/top-5 things-clients, okay? You can grab it, you can follow right along. It's really pretty, the PDF I put together for you, okay? So this is what I do to gain confidence. So how about you? On a scale of 1 to 10, drop a number in the comments. How confident are you in your business right now? How confident are you? On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you in your business right now? If you're not at a 10, what will you do to improve that number so that you can show up as an expert, ready to help your niche, and sign those paying clients? What number are you right now? And if it's not a 10, what are you going to do for 5 minutes today or tomorrow to get more confident, to take action, to answer that nagging in your head that says, oh, you're too far behind, you're this, you're that, you're whatever. You might as well just go binge watch TV. No. What are you going to do today so that you can show up as an expert, ready to help your niche, and sign clients? Because now you're feeling more confident and you're feeling like you can do it. Ariana says, was about a 6, now more like a 9. I love it. That's awesome. I'm so glad. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So that's the second step, is to own your confidence, baby. Step 3 in the 5 things you must do to get your first or next clients is to know your message. Now, this is one that we actually hear a lot about, right? That in order to sell to clients, you have to talk about what you have to offer and clearly connect it to your niche so that when your ideal clients read or hear it, they know it's for them, right? So again, this goes back to that first step of knowing your niche. And in order to push publish on a post, you've got to be feeling confident, right? Which is what we talked about in step 2. You got to be feeling confident. Otherwise, you're not going to do it, right? You're going to be afraid of what people think. You're going to be afraid of criticism. You're going to be afraid of failure. You're going to be afraid of crickets, whatever. So that's why confidence comes where it comes in step number 2. Step number 3, you have to know your message. A lot of times, if you don't have as many clients as you want, or you haven't gotten that first client yet, it's because you aren't being specific enough in your messaging. Specific, I said that weird. Specific enough in your messaging, which might come back to you not really knowing how to be specific because you don't really know your niche. Go back to step 1, right? Go back to start, do not, pass, go, whatever it is, whatever that monopoly saying is, okay? So it could be that getting more focused in your messaging could instantly connect you to those ideal clients you've been hoping for so that they are ready to buy from you, right? It really could be as simple as getting clear on your messaging, because people have got to know that you're for them when they see something from you. Arnie, hey, how's it going? Welcome. Now, for example, Arnie knows his message. Am I right? Arnie knows who he's talking to. He's very clear about it. He's very clear about what he does. He's upfront about what he does. He's upfront about what he's good at, and he shows up confidently for his niche in the messaging he puts out there, right? In this group, on his personal page, on his business page, everywhere. He knows what he's about. He's got these first 3 steps nailed down. Way to go, Arnie. So I'll give you an example from my own world about knowing your messaging. Here is what I have distilled, because I have been, like I said, I've been in online business since 2005. Life with Passion I've been doing Life with Passion since 2015. So now I know I work with people who have a big dream but are struggling with the confidence and the know-how to get out there and do it. They have a deep desire to make a big difference, but they don't know what they're doing wrong. Like they maybe have tried some things. Maybe they've tried to do it all on their own. Or maybe they've gotten some help, but they're feeling stuck and they don't know what to do next. And they're feeling confused. They're feeling overwhelmed. They need self-belief and strategy. And that is where I come in. Because a lot of times people teach one or the other, right? Like maybe, you work with someone or you take a program that teaches you how to make awesome funnels or Facebook ads or something like that. But then at the end of the day, you're still scared of failure, so you don't execute on it, right? So I think where my unique messaging comes in and my unique niche is that I do both, right? So we look at the reasons why you have this self-doubt and how to overcome it. And we very quickly identify your niche and we create a message around that and give you the simple strategies, since I've been in online marketing forever, to execute on your message, your package, your service, your prices. So it's both. Arnie says, that's right. New offers need new messaging and funnels. Don't mix it up and confuse people. Totally. Yes. Don't mix it up and confuse people. Yeah, it's easy for people to get confused. This is a really saturated space, the online world, right? Like there are a lot of options. There are a lot of ways that you could go, right? And so the more niche you can be about exactly who you help and how and why, the more likely it is that people are going to connect with you. And so I know that, the people who come to me want help uncovering their true gifts, like stepping into those, like owning who they really are, building businesses that they're passionate about. And they also want the practical tools to build their business with consistency and persistency and self-belief, and to make it less overwhelming, right? So simple strategies and self-belief. That's what all of my messaging is around. So it's both, right? So the first example, the first step I gave you is you got to know your niche. And we talked about that. Simple strategy, right? The second strategy I gave you was confidence. That's self-belief. So it's always both for me. Always both in my messaging. Simple strategy and self-belief. So what is it for you? I love to hear what your messaging is about. So drop that below. I'd also love to know, how confident and clear are you on your current messaging and how well it connects to your niche? How confident and clear are you on your current messaging? Do you feel like it's overwhelming? Do you feel like it's all over the place? Or are you like, nope, I know exactly what my people want to hear. I show up for that every day, and writing content is easy for me, and messaging is easy around that because I'm so clear. If you want more clients, this is an important piece to look at, right? Because chances are you can further connect to potential clients through your messaging, and do that in a stronger way so that they're willing to take you up on your offer, your product, your service, whatever it is, with more frequency, and become loyal repeat customers. Messaging. I know that's a place a lot of people get stuck. I love to write, and I've been writing copy, forever. So that's something that comes pretty naturally to me, but it's also something that can be learned, just like confidence. How clear are you on your current messaging? If you're unclear, it may be because, again, you're not clear on your niche. How do you talk to people when you don't know who to talk to, right? You're going out on a date or whatever. You got to know your audience. You're going to be sharing something different on that date than you would with your friends or your buddies when you're just, hanging out, right? If you're going on a first date, you got to know your audience. If you're getting in front of clients, you got to know your audience, right? So how are you feeling about your messaging? How are you feeling about your messaging? Let me know in the comments. If you have questions as we talk about these things, about knowing your niche, about owning your confidence, about knowing your message, go ahead and drop them in the comments and I will get to them ASAP. I've already got some questions lined up that I'm going to be answering, and I'd love to answer yours too. So feel free to go ahead and drop them in and I will get to them here in just a couple of minutes. All right, step number 4 in the top 5 things to do to get your first or next clients is to create consistency. okay? You got to create consistency in a business, especially right now, because we are all deluged with 6 figures in 6 minutes type of ads. Am I right? Like, I did this, follow this one simple system, and your business is automatically going to explode overnight, right? And the truth is that a lot of times people who found success that they are now packaging as overnight, they were working for years and years and showing up consistently and consistently and consistently and persistently before the thing happened that took them to that next level, before they discovered what worked best for them. And it is different for everyone. It is different for everyone. And don't let someone tell you it's just their system and it's guaranteed to work, because you're unique. Your skills, your passions, your messaging, your target audience is just as unique as you are. And that is a really, really important thing to consider. Okay? And so knowing that you can show up consistently and making a commitment to do that is so important, because people are watching. People are watching to see if you're going to change your business idea every 5 seconds, or if you are somebody who's clear on what you know, clear on what you have to offer, and show up consistently for that. It doesn't mean you're not allowed to change along the way, because most of us do, because we grow and our audience, our clients grow with us. But it's important to stick to something for a little while, not only to show up as consistent, but to see the benefits of what you did and to be able to assess if that was a good strategy. Okay? Ariana says it's changing. Love that. Yep, it will, right? As your niche changes, it totally will. I think you're talking about your messaging there. Okay, so step 4 is to create consistency. So often, new entrepreneurs or struggling entrepreneurs get discouraged when their idea doesn't instantly blow up in that 6 figures in 6 minutes type of fallacy that we see everywhere out there. And so what happens is these newbies begin doubting themselves and hiding out, right? And eventually giving up. And I really take a stand for you to not do that, right? That's why I'm here today. That's why I do what I do, because I believe that if you have a dream, if you have a dream of freedom, if you have a dream of getting out of that 9 to 5, if you have a dream of impacting, your life, your family's life, the world in a positive way, there's a reason you have it, right? And starting, a business and continuing in that business is not an easy thing or the norm for most of us in our normal lives. We aren't around surrounded by entrepreneurs every day in our normal lives in real life. And so we need encouragement. We need support to show up to be consistent and persistent. And so use this live stream as inspiration to do that, and know this group, this community is a great place for you to go and get that support and to stay consistent. You have an important message and people who need to hear it as well. Because here's the thing. Let's say you put a post out there and someone's like, oh my gosh, I really like what they had to say. They're going to start watching you and going, oh yeah, I remember what Christine had to say. I'm going to keep this may be totally subconscious, but I'm going to keep watching to see if what else she has to say really resonates with me. And I'm going to keep watching to see if she's going to stick around, keep showing up, or if she's kind of fly by night and flighty, right? This is all about creating the know, like, and trust factor, which you've probably heard in your potential future clients and customers. And so one of the ways that you really do that trust factor is really established with consistency. If this business is important to you, it's important to commit to consistently putting your message out there. This boosts your credibility, it boosts your visibility to the people who need to hear it, to your potential customers and clients, and it boosts the know, like, and trust factor. And I recommend that you show up daily. That is a level of consistency that I recommend. Okay? Awesome. Have you had a problem with consistency before? Has this been an issue for you? Why do you think that is? Do you have questions about consistency? Drop them in the comments. Here's how I show up consistently. And Again, the right solution is different for everyone based upon your preferences and your niche. But I post and interact daily in my own Facebook group, which is called Life with Passion Society, plus in 3 others I really like. I prioritize this so that it's one of the first things I do each day, and this builds trust in my community. I get to connect with more people all the time, and it shows people that I'm committed to my business and to building real relationships that turn into paying clients, right? Because the majority of what I do for free for my audience. I also work one-on-one with clients who want, more of my time, who want more in-depth support in my area of expertise. But a lot of the time, I'm just, as Arnie would say, dropping value bombs left and right? Like I'm sharing my best stuff, and I'm doing so on a daily basis because my desire is to build a business that is full of value, that is full of great information, and that really helps people at every level. Whether they take what I have to say, walk away and implement on their own, decide they need more support, decide to hire me, whatever it is, my goal is that I get to affect and help as many people as possible. Arnie says, that's how to show up and blow up. Daily value bombs. Yes, daily value bombs. That's a great hashtag. Daily value bomb of the day. Totally. And you know it, Arnie, right? Like that's exactly what you do too. And look how you've blown up. I love it. So my question for you, where you can reflect here is, are you consistently, meaning daily, dropping those value bombs? Are you sharing your message and value to your niche right now? If not, I recommend that you choose one place to commit to doing so right now. If you decide you're going to show up a lot of different places, you're going to get overwhelmed, you're going to fall off very quickly. I recommend you pick one place that you're going to show up every day for a month, and you do it, and you interact, and you create real relationships. I say that a Facebook group is kind of like a local coffee shop in a way where, like, if you see the same people there day in, day out, like, you might strike up a conversation with them. You might not the first day you walk in. You got to get to know the vibe. You got to make sure it feels like something that you like. You've got to get comfortable there, right? But then, like, people get to know your vibe, just like the baristas would get to know your drink. And then, you've been there a lot, right? And you sit at a table next to someone, and eventually one of you is like, oh my gosh, I see you a lot. Like, what are you working on, right? And you develop a potential relationship. This is like a Facebook group, okay? In that way. So that's number 4. And again, I want to remind you, if you haven't grabbed the workbook that has all of this laid out for you step by step, you can do that. The link is in the comment here in the main description. Grab the PDF workbook with places to put in your own answers and follow along with each of the steps, because we are now at step 5. Step 5, after you've completed the first 4 steps, of course they all build on each other, to get your first or next clients, is to create an exciting offer. Now, what do I mean by exciting? I mean, it's exciting for you and your potential client. I mean, it's exciting for you and your potential client, because if one or the other of you is not excited about it, guess what? It's not going to work. If you're not excited about it, you're not going to put it out there using your messaging consistently. If you don't really feel like it's going to be of service and help people, you're not going to be showing up for it, right? Because I'm sure you are the kind of person who runs your business congruently and is genuine and really wants to help people with whatever you have to offer. And so you've got to be excited about it first. Are you excited about what you are offering? And are you excited about its price? Are you excited about getting paid that amount of money to do that? Does it feel awesome if someone were to write you a check or pull out their credit card to pay you that amount? Or does it feel like you're going to throw up and there's no way you could ever say that amount because it seems like way too much, and who would ever pay you that amount? Or on the other side of the spectrum, does it seem like I'm going to be really annoyed if someone pays me this amount because it's not enough? You have to find a price point that you are excited about. You are allowed to change it later, but a lot of times I see people getting hung up on this. What should I charge? Well, everybody's opinion on that is completely based on their own experience and their own story and their own hang-ups and no's and rejections and acceptances. Like, yes, there can be a formula to it, and we could talk about that if you want to. But even when you do the formula, it has to be something you're comfortable putting out there and confident putting out there. And a lot of times that means you start low and you raise your prices once you really own your confidence, own your value, own your results. But it's got to be exciting to you, both the offer itself and the price point. Okay? Do you believe and know that this is something that your niche wants and needs? Wants and needs? If not, you're not going to be excited, and neither are they. Truth bomb. If you're not excited about it, check in there first and make whatever adjustments to it that would make it seem like an amazing, like, life or business changing offer for the people who are going to buy it, right? What is going to do that? If you are excited about it, have you validated it yet with your niche? Have you validated it yet with your niche? This is important. You could spend a ton of time creating something you're excited about, think everyone's going to buy, you launch, and you hear crickets, right? We hear about this all the time, and we're afraid of this with good reason. But you can pre-validate, do some informal market research, find out if this is what your niche would like, and make adjustments on what they have to tell you, which is, again, why we go all the way back around to number one, knowing your niche. Do not just ask your friends, okay? Unless they are your exact niche. But chances are they're not. Do not ask your friends. Do not ask your mastermind partners, your accountability partners. They probably are not your niche. And they're going to give you advice based on what they need, not what your niche needs. Okay? Save yourself some headaches there. Don't create something for your buddies. Create something for your niche. Cool? Validate it with the right people. Make adjustments based on what you learn so that your offer is exciting to your customers, exciting to your niche, something they need, something they want, something they will buy. All right? So here is an example of a way I pre-validated something in my own business. I created a half-day intensive that I called Clarity, Confidence, and Clients Intensive in response to what my niche told me they needed to move their businesses forward. So what I do in that particular offer, in that particular intensive, is we spend focused time together for a half day so that they get huge clarity on their next steps. They get the confidence to take those next steps because we deal with whatever's been holding them back, and they get the strategy for signing their first or next paying client. That was directly in response to what they told me they needed. I asked, and then I created this for them, and it has sold. Okay? So how about you? Right now, do you feel excited about your product or your service and its price? Why or why not? What will you do to up that excitement even further on your end and on the part of your potential clients? What can you do with your messaging? What can you do with your honing in further on your niche? What can you do for your confidence? What can you do to make these things start to click over and over for you? Or if you're watching this and you're like, oh yeah, I've already done all that, then tell me what's worked for you. Tell me what's worked for you. Do you agree? Have you found something else that I haven't covered here? I'd love to know. I'd love for you to drop a value bomb in the comments, and let's share and inspire everybody who is watching and listening right now. So to recap, and again, you can get this PDF in the description, and the link in the description, so that you can walk away with all of this. Step number one is to know your niche. Everything else, all the other 4 steps flow out of that. Know and nail and own your niche. Number 2, own your confidence. Own your confidence that you have something to offer. Begin to build that confidence, strengthen that confidence every single day so that you don't get stuck, doubtful, shame spiraling, on the couch, binge watching Netflix and eating chips and cheese or junk food of your choice, fill in the blank. Step number 3, know your message. Get really, really focused on your messaging because you know your niche. Really, really clear that you are providing them what they want and you're talking about it Segue to step 4, with consistency. You're showing up with consistency. My challenge to you is to choose a place to show up consistently over the next month, every single day, and drop those value bombs, drop those truth bombs every day so that the people who need to hear from you are hearing from you and building the know, like, and trust factor. On the confidence piece, I would say that the hack there is 5 minutes a day, right? 5 minutes a day on something business building. It doesn't have to be the exact right thing. It just needs to be something to move you forward, okay? Number 5 is to create an exciting offer or update your existing offer so that it's exciting both to you and to your niche, and that the price is exciting to you as well. That is what also going to support your consistency. If you do that, those are the top 5 things to do to get your first or next clients. Woohoo! Cheers! So now I want to hear from you. What questions do you have about what I had to share? While you are thinking about those and typing those in, I have some questions that have already come in that I'm going to answer. And I also want to invite you to grab that PDF. That's what I've got for you. It's totally free. I want you to have it, walk away with it, come over and tell me what you've learned. Tell me on this thread, tell me in the group, PM me, email me, Christine@lifewithpassion. I'd love to hear from you. Arnie says, thank you, such good stuff. Thank you, Arnie. I'm so glad. I have loved delivering this. I've loved delivering this, and I'm going to get to your questions right now. So Nick says, what channels do you use to find your niche other than Facebook? Nick, I'm assuming that you mean to reach your niche rather than to discover your niche, right? Like, I'm assuming, Nick, that you already know who your niche is and that you're saying, where are they? How do I connect with them? Great question. I love that you asked it. And I'm going to say it totally depends on your niche's habits. It totally depends on your niche's habits. And it really depends on what kind of business you're in, because sometimes our niche is like somebody who's a lot like us, but one or more steps behind. And sometimes our niche is somebody totally different than us. So in my case, in my online marketing business, my niche was somebody who was much older and who was very not comfortable or interested in running their own online marketing. They just wanted to outsource to somebody that they could trust and who they could say, I want to get leads at this event, or I want to get leads that I can work via email, and just go find them. This is the type of person I'm looking for. This is the demographic. You go make it happen. That was my online marketing niche. These people were often twice as old or older than me, and they were really happy to just pay me to be really hands-off with it. Okay? Now, in my current business, in Life with Passion, I work with people who are a few steps behind me in online business building, who want a mentor to help take them by the hand, and either in a one-off session, or maybe in a product I've created, or in a 6-month mentorship, they want support to build that business, to overcome their self-doubt, and to implement the simple strategies that I have to share that I know about because of my background. So in that case, my niche is very, very different than it was in the online marketing business, and that how I find each of them is very, very different too. So I think you got to ask yourself, what are they doing? And who's your niche? If your niche is somebody who's similar to you, then it's actually pretty easy because they probably have similar online habits to you. So look at where you're spending your time other than Facebook. If your niche is somebody pretty different than you, then you got to figure out where they're hanging out, because they are spending their time online. So it's just a question of where. All right. And so Nick, if you're watching this later and you want to have more dialogue about this, please feel free. Please feel free. Harry says, hopefully you're recording this so that people can watch it again and share it with others. Yeah, always when I do a live stream, I record it. John asks, do you have a regular go-to checklist of things you always ask your potential client, and a regular list of things that you ask for once they have decided to onboard with you? Thank you. Yes, great question, John. I do. The answer is yes to both. So usually when somebody is thinking about working with me, we get on a call together because the type of work that I do is very personal, and it's kind of like a date. We're both checking each other out, right? Because like if someone's not a good fit for me, I will tell them. I don't want or choose to sign everybody I get on the phone with. And I'm picky about it because it's my time and my energy, right? And I want them to feel like, hell yes, I want to work with her. And so that's the kind of conversation that we have. Like, what are your goals? Is that something that I can help you with? What do you feel like is currently holding you back? Because I want to make sure that it's something that I feel like I can support them in, right? In whatever they feel like is holding them back. Well, is that one of my areas of expertise? Is that my zone of genius, as the book The Big Leap talks about? So I'm going to be sort of interviewing them just as they're interviewing me about their goals for working together, making sure that I feel like I can help them in a really powerful way and that we have a good connection, right? Because if we're going to be working together personally, I want to make sure we have a good connection. We like each other, just like a date. So those are the kinds of things I'm going to talk about ahead of time. I'm also assessing how self-aware they are and how open they are to doing the work, because in my type of business as a business and success coach, I'm going to be simplifying things for them and like speeding up their timeline, but they're still doing the work, right? It's different. I'm not setting up their Facebook ads and just like sending them a bill. Like I'm going to teach them how to do anything they need to do, provide them with tutorials and like show up for them 100%. But a lot of the work of business building, they're going to be doing on their own, because it's important for them to know how to do it so that they grow into the type of person who's capable of running the business that they desire to have. In terms of once somebody decides to join me, once someone decides to work with me, I give them an in-depth questionnaire. Every client gets one of these. They work through that to get clearer on what it is that they want and what kind of specific help they want from me. Like what they want in their life, where do they want to be 6 months from now, and also, or at the end of our half day or whatever, and also where do they feel they're weak, like where can I support them, how do they want to be supported, all of that stuff, which helps them both get clearer and helps me to create a plan for whatever amount of time we're going to spend together. It's like a syllabus, right? I used to be a professor. I was an undergraduate and graduate professor. I was also a career counselor. And so it's awesome when you can really build any length of time specifically around and customize the type of help that you're giving specifically to what someone needs, rather than just putting them into your mold and what you feel like you know how to teach, right? Because my background is just so broad that there are a lot of different things I can teach. So it's all about like, what does the client want to know? And so that is what we get deep with in that questionnaire. Cool. So Chrissy asks, what's your opinion on frequency of following up with leads? How many times and how often? This is such a good question. So for me, if it's somebody I feel like is a really ideal client, right in the middle of my niche, somebody I feel like I'm really excited to work with, I'm going to send them an email just letting them know how much I enjoyed our call right after the day of or the day after our call. And then I'm going to follow up with them weekly, a couple weeks at a time. And then I'm going to move it to bi-weekly for a couple times. And then I'm going to move it to monthly. Now, I'm always going to make sure to add value, and I'm never copying and pasting the exact same thing that I sent to someone else. People are thinking about working with me in a very personal level. That's the type of work that I do. And so I have always built my businesses around personal relationships. My clients come, they stay, they work with me for years. And so I think one of the reasons for that is there's no one size fits all solution. There's no one size fits all client, and I don't treat anybody that way. And so I think it's really important that if you're following up, you are providing value. I'll often send like a link to an article or a live stream or a blog post or an interview or whatever that I think would be relevant to what I know they're struggling with. And I'm going to ask them for feedback specifically on what's going on for them too. So I'm always very clear to make it about them. And I think that's more important than any particular frequency. I hope that's helpful. All right, and Ariana asks, what exercises should people do to hone in on their ideal clients? I see the trend that this is tough early on in their business. As we talked about, I love this question because it's the most important thing you can do to grow your business to get clients. The most important thing. The most important thing. And the single most important exercise I recommend that you do is to create what I call a confidence resume, which is a resume of your unique skills, your background, your passions, your interests, things that you've helped other people with, but taking it to a deep level, not just like where you are in your business right now, but like what have you done in your life, throughout your life? What did you love when you were a kid, right? What are those common themes? A confidence resume. I love, love, love this because it does two things for you. It gets out onto paper what you have accomplished and what you've helped yourself and other people with. And then on the other side, when you look at it, you feel a lot more confident, which is so important to showing up consistently. So you're gonna get clarity on your niche, and you're also gonna look at it and be like, look at all this stuff I've done. I really can help other people, right? So I recommend you create a confidence resume. That's where I recommend you start for the most important exercise you can do to hone in on your ideal client, okay? I have a 5-day challenge that I have that I sell that you can use that comes with an in-depth confidence resume template, as well as 5 days of training, a workbook, videos, and all of that stuff. If that's something that interests you, I'm going to drop the link below. This is for my 5-day challenge, which is called Know Your Niche, which includes a confidence resume. And since you asked about that, Ariana, I wanted to drop that below. Arnie says, I like the sound of that. Yeah, it's super powerful. Like everybody who's ever actually done a confidence resume is like blown away, and then it's out there in front of you, and then you can plaster it on your wall if you want. Look at it every day and be like, look at me, look at all this stuff I did, right? It's super powerful if you will make the time to go and do it. Awesome questions. Thank you for asking those. And thank you so much for joining me. My name is Christine McAlister, and I am thrilled that you were here today for this live stream. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here with you. Thank you to Arnie for creating this space. And if you're watching this on the replay, please know that I would love to answer your questions. I would love to connect with you in any way, here in the group, via PM, on my website, lifewithpassion.com. Email me, Christine@lifewithpassion.com. You all are why I do what I do, so I'm grateful for the opportunity. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you're feeling more confident and more clear about the top 5 things to do to get your first or next client. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.